Okay. All right. Listen, Baruch Hashem, Parshas Tzav. So the Chacham say that the Welt is Bashafen geworden from Yesh, is Yesh Me'ayin. Yesh Me'ayin. This is the Welt. And the Bali Musa is organ, the Pshara is that our avoda is to make an ayin from the Yesh. That's our avoda. So the Yesod is the Pshara is the more a person is mevatel himself to the Rebbeinu Shalom, is the Rebbeinu Shalom is the Makor HaKedusha ki Kadosh Ani Kadoshim Tiyu ki Kadosh Ani. Like that's the more a person is mevatel himself to the Rebbeinu Shalom. So that's something where that's the tafkid and the tachlis of the avoda. The pshat is the Bereshis bara Elokim. We say it all the time, but we can't get far away from the tachlis of Welt. The tachlis of Welt is b'shvil Torah, b'shvil Yisrael, and the Yisrael which is mekayim the Torah, which was the asiyas Torah. Is his gavrus of the Torah on the artzius and the adomius of a person. So that bittul is b'shas that brings about that is the kavod shemayim which was existed in Welt. That is the tachlis. These are tachlis, mamish tachlis of the Welt, and like we said in one of the shiurim, that this machshava from a Kadosh Baruch Hu that the b'shvil Torah b'shvil Yisrael. Shenikaresh is Pshat, that's a ständige machshava. It's not like, we have our lives and we live in a certain mahalach, and we're kosher and b'nei adam. That's not that's not our purpose. That's not what we are bashafen for. We're bashafen to mamish be aved the Rebbeinu Shalom 24/7. And that was the idea from the Korah Barzel. We said that was the Madur Basra. Again, we're making Chazorah, but it's Nagaya. This is Alus Nagaya, some Tachlis. And the Tachlis is 100% 24/7. Every rega of a person's existence is he has this Tachlis, that he has to be over the Kadosh Baruch Hu. He has to serve the Rebbeinu Shalom. V'chol mo'odecha, v'chol levavcha, v'chol mo'odecha. With sein Geld. Sein Geld is also the pshat that's ma'od is osiyas adam, because the Geld a person's Geld is really bottled to a person. That's something that's a chelik of the person is his ma'od is the Geld, and the pshat is that a person has to use every pruta, every part of his facet of himself. That's why it says tzaddikim is chavivim b'man yasam iguv, and Yaakov Avinu was chazer on the pachim ketanim that we brought down a couple times. The pshat is not like Paro who says leave your kelim al tochas al kleichem, you'll get better kelim. The pshat is but Yaakov by a guy Yid is the pshat v'keret. That's a Yid is every aspect of our lives is whatever we have, and whatever the object is not to accumulate. The object is to use whatever we have in order to be Aved Kadosh Baruch Hu b'shleimus, and with the tafkid of shleimus, that's what we are. That's our existence. That's our metzias. There's no metzias chutz from that, and that's our focus. So I'm trying to give a hagdama now to this Parshas Tzav. So Tzav we had last week in Parshas Vayikra, the Adam ki yakri mikam is the Adam which is makri v'korban. That's the idea of the korban is the Adam. The pshat is that like we always say, that the pshat is that by Har Sinai in Mitzrayim there was the Korah Barzel which there was a Bria Nifla from Klolius Knesset Yisrael, was the Madur Basra of the Adam Rishon, Kadam Rishon, Kadam Echet, and Mamela the Pshaz that this new Bria, this new Yitzhira from Klal Yisrael, Klolius Knesset Yisrael was something as a result of Yetzias Mitzrayim, of the Metzias of being in Mitzrayim. And we once mentioned the pshat is that's the way that, just like the Mesilas Yesharim says, that there was the avodah in Mitzrayim was something that was 24/7. It was something that they didn't have time to daven even. There was not they were not themselves. An Eved is not himself. Everything which is Masha Kona Eved is Kona Rabo. The pshat, but and Kol Shekein in Mitzrayim, it was the avdus. It was the whole avdus that you can get. It was like unbelievable. And the pshat, the Klal Yisrael didn't even have time to daven, to think, until there was a havacha. The pshat is, but some that's that purpose was because that's the musig of our avdus to Kadosh Baruch Hu. You think we came out with like B'nai Chayru, you get to do whatever you want, you get to play LBA and stuff like that, and this is no, this is not that's not the way it goes. The pshat is that just like we were avodim to Paro, there was avodas perich. So pshat kachi darcha shel terah. That's our avodah. That's our musig from avodah, and the pshat is an avodah. That's in Ben Charin. The Yasik B'Ter, Misha Yasik B'Ter, the Torah brings us that's called our Chayris, but it's a Shibud Daraisa, which is Niflidik. So that was the Adam from last week. We said that the Rashi Nifla was that was the Adam Rishon. He was referencing Adam Rishon, and so in Parshas Tzav is function with the korban Talmud. Now the korban Talmud is something that we said that there's a difference between a korban Sibur and a korban Yachid, and even a korban Shutfus is different. Is the korban Sibur doesn't belong to any Yachid at all, and that's the musig of Kavalius Knesset Yisrael, that this idea from Korban Talmud is a pshaz, and that's the Iker Avoda from Klal Yisrael. The Iker Avoda of Klal Yisrael is the Talmud, and it says Sveim Olatog, it says Yom V'Layla, just as the Torah is a Chiyah from Yom V'Layla, so too the Korban Talmud is a Chiyah from Yom V'Layla. And it's I saw in the Sefer that what's it called, Edrei Son from my Rebbe that in Baltimore here, he says that's this is the Iker for Keret, the Dashin, the Trumas Dashin is the Iker part of the Korban Olam. The Talmud that's Nakrav, the Iker part of it is Trumas Dashin. So the Trumas Hadashin is there's 2 points. There was a Hotzos Hadashin is after the Talmud was Nakrav and it was an Israf and it became ashes. So you took it off. There was a mitzvah every single day to take off the ashes from the mizbeach and make a on the side of the mizbeach, make a mound of these ashes. And then when it got too big, so then there was once in a while they would take it and then make a hotzos adashin that they would take it outside of the base of Mikdash. But the mitzvah of Trumas adashin is the Iker. Yeah, I also wrote about it in the Chamos Migdalai in I think it's Perek Tes of the Lagavi Chanukah. But so that's something that this is the Iker avoda of a Yid. Is this idea from Trumas Hadashin? What's the Trumas Hadashin? It's Meshuna from all other mitzvahs. Trumas Hadashin is something where you take something which is l'chayr was nasa mitzvoso. The klal is something which is nasa mitzvoso. There's no meila in it for sure. That is the matzav of something which is not some mitzvah, the Gemara Psachim and Kol Shol, so the Pshar some but not by Trumas, not by the Olos. The Sreifas Ola, after you have these ashes, so the Pshar, so there's now a mitzvah from Trumas Hadashin, you take it off, a mamish mitzvah. And that mitzvah, so it's interesting, says that is the yesod of our avoda in the world. That's the bittul. They started on you the bittul of the person. Our avoda found on with the bittul of the yesh. When a person avatul his yesh, Pshata say is like the oldest dashin. When he's like this, the yetz found on the avoda. Yes, fancy on the avoda that you can go start and you go and then it's a mitzvah. Now we do the mitzvah in the b'shleimuso, and that's what the grossest chus of the Ola and the Pshas, and also and Tefillah in the Bezman Shein Beis HaMikdash. So the Pshas, so what do? The Anshe Knesset go and Masakin the Chiyuv Tefillah, the Tefillus of Bnei Yisrael connected that the Olas, the Tamidim. The two Tamidim. That's why you have a Mincha and the Shachris and Mincha, and the Sreifa of the Eivarim is a Pshas. That's for Marav. So it's very interesting. That's the whole Kol Yaakov. The whole Kol Yaakov is gebaut on the Talmud. Is a gebaut on this idea from you take something with your atzmis. You take this. You it's like what says in the Shulchan Aruch. The Beis Yosef Moran says you're like Omed Lefnei Melech. When you're Omed Lefnei Melech, is you're like his Pashtus Agashmias. Dos Redman. The pshat is that the Olo is the pshat is the Pashtus Agashmias, the bitul of the Gashmias. This is something that's really that our avoda, and that's called Chai Shor. But the Chai Shor is a Chai Shor of the pshat is that we're mevatul everything, mevatul our retzonos, mevatul our atzmias, mevatul our zich, to the Ribono Shalom, and every single way. And the more a person is batul, and avota, how does it work? There's the bittul of the atzmi is the bittul of this. The pshat is because the Ribono Shalom is the Korah Kedusha. Is when we have this Klolius Knesset Yisrael, so we're Ki'ish Echad, B'leiv Echad, where there's something which is Ma'asif, Kol and all the Neshamas, the Tzuris Klal Yisrael, the Shishim Riba and Neshamas. The pshat is that the Shishim Riba and Neshamas in Klolius Knesset Yisrael is the pshat that's Ki'ish Echad, B'leiv Echad. We said a korban tzibur has no yichidus to it. And we have no yichidus whatsoever. It's purely the tziburdik. And a tzibur, this pshat that is the heichetimsa of a person who is a part of Klal Yisrael. So the pshat said that the heichetimsa of his batlis, his complete the bitul mavutul to the Ribono Shalom is derech dorch the idea from korban tzibur from tefillah. He's omed lefnei melech, the Aimal talk, he's Omed Lefnei Melech, and he's Mavato, he's got his Pashtus Agashmias, and his Mom is Shofech, his Retzonis, and his this, and his Mechaven North and Kavod Shemayim. So that's a very interesting thing. We once said that's why all the tefillas in the Shemona Esrei are Lashon Rabim. The pshat is because we're not there. We're not for our personal, we're petition before Lefnei Melech. You're coming to petition for our personal retzonos. We're coming to daven. We're part of Chayli. We're Klal Yisrael. We know when we need anything that we're asking for, whatever we're davening. The tefillah is a tefillah from Klal Yisrael. It's a Klal Yisrael tefillah, and there's only the Anshe Knesset Gedolim could do such a thing. So Mesakin such. So Memela that's this korban. That's the korban Talmud. So and very interesting, and the Memela, that's why it is that the Deshin, the Trumas HaDeshin is the Iker. Could be, can sign the Iker. If not the Iker, it's on par with the Iker, the mitzvah itself. Is a pshat is that the Trumas HaDeshin is a Chayil. Dos is the Tommy. Dos Binich. That's what we are. We are, a dash. We're taking our atzmias, we're taking our afarias, we're taking our adamias that we have, and we've been vatul it, and we're vatul to Ribono every little connection, every little thing, every machshava, dibur, and ma'isa is the pshat, and that's dosas avoda, and that's the idea of tefillah. Interessant. It's a very interessant word. So you understand when the korban was nekrav, it was not something like we're like removed from it a little bit. It's a concept. It's a musig that so we're not really into it. We're not really part of the experience. But it must have been a tremendous ruchniistic experience. It wasn't you brought it in, you gave it over, you did goodbye, and like l'shalom. This is something that must have been as even a tefillah is.
Shalom, I understand, because then they got to eat.
I know you're talking about barbecue. We're not talking about barbecue.
Oh, but when they just gave it.
Yeah, that's something, right? That's the chiddush. That's something. I think this must be a murder. First of all, you had to do tshuva. You got to do all kinds of things like for different korbanos and stuff. So and this is something which is.
I thought they were grateful that they were able to give over there a bird instead of having to bring a whole carver for the thing. You could feed a person. He was able to get away with whatever it was. So he had a murdik hakorat hakodesh appreciation.
Everybody ish lefi mahalolo. You understand? Everybody according to what his experience. This is good. All right. But anyway, it's a very interesting sach. So that's the hemshich of this Parshas Tzav. That we went through the whole hemshich of the whole chumash over here. Was gewaldig. It was nifladik. The Adam Kiyakri became from this. The Madur Basu from this. This is the Yesod Havoda. Don't you understand? It's the Yesod which is going on, which is very interesting to Zach. So this we mentioned. Let me see. This we mentioned also the idea that the korban sibur is really a pshat, that's a chelik of the klolius knesses Israel. The klolius knesses Israel that we're talking about, this bria niflo. That's good. That is kolel all the nishmas Yisrael, the tzuris Yisrael, the shishim ribon neshamas. That's something which had to come out only from Mitzrayim. Only, but we say there were different madregas of the Yetzirah. From the Klolius Knesset Yisrael was Yetzias Mitzrayim, and then we had by Yamsuf, and then we got right before we got to by Har Sinai, before Kabbalas Torah. That's by Yom Sheni. That's why there was a Bechiras Ha'am. Bechiras Ha'am means the Bechiras Ha'am from the Torah, the Tzur from Klolius Knesset Yisrael. So that's the Melechus Kahani v'Goy Kodesh. So that's the mechayev. That's the musig of a korban sibur. It's not a korban shultvis. It's not something we should have a chelik. It's a Rashi by Karech a little bit schwer with that, but there's misbal. But this is the yesod. The yesod of a korban is the pshaz it's a korban from sibur. Everybody is in. So Mamela, what's who licked the kedushas? The idea from this, the Trumas Hadeshin, because the Pshah said that's like we were saying that a person when he's mavatul himself to the Ribbana Shalom is Makora Kedusha. Ki Kodesh Oni, Kedoshim Tiyu Ki Kodesh Oni. That the only way to become a Halid, to verhalid oneself, is the Pshah is when he becomes part of the Ribbana Shalom. When he's mavatul himself to Ribbana Shalom. That is the Makora Kedusha. There's no other way. There's no other hechatimsa. Is in what is Kodesh, like the Rashba says, the Kodesh is something which is mufresh from the normal mahalach of the Welt. It's mufresh from the Welt. The Welt is a chumrius. The Welt is a chumrius tikizach, and to be mufresh from the Welt is that does haste Kodesh. You have it even in Lashon HaKadosh, the Pshat Zazana is called a Kadesha. In Chumash because it's Meshunadik, it's Meshuna from the rest of the Welt, whatever. But the Pshat is...
But it's one, means one.
What?
It's another translation of one, Kadosh.
One?
It's Kedusha.
Kedusha is mufresh. You're mufresh from this world. So the Memela, the Pshat said that's because the Rebbeinu Shalom is mufresh. That's the idea of you've been connecting to Ribbana Shalom, who's mufresh from the Welt. It's a ton with Welt. It is not that's so. The more we access in Welt, you're right. And that's why we have mitzvahs and we have things and we have the Torah keeps us busy and gives us asik vos satan vos mitzvahs in order to be mekadosh.
I can't do kedusha by focusing on getting myself closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If everything is about getting closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kodesh means one. That it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It
means what?
Why is it mufresh? Why are you seeing around that it's
that's
mufresh?
what I'm saying. When you went like Lamasha, when you Mekadesh and Isha, there's a Tasa says you answer her on Kol Olam Kulo. Kehektish. You answer her on Kol Olam Kulo. That's the Tasa in the Kedusha, the Nome Beis there. So that's the idea. So we had mentioned, this is the Zach which we mention all the time, that this Adam Yisrael has really do partzufim. He's walking around with a partzuf from a yochid who's a yochid b'shvili nivra olam, and he's over the Ribbon Shalom in his yechidus in the pshat. So that's ein zach. And then it's Feita Zach is he's a partzuf from Klal Yisrael. He's a Klolius Knesset Yisrael. And that is the Ki'ish Echod B'Leiv Echod. That's the it's a Yichud Nifla, and in that respect, that's where the Korban Talmud, that's where the Korban Tzibur is coming from. And in terms of a Yochid is Yochid. Yochid brings is an individual. Masha Enkein, the Pshara is that we're not individuals in terms of that. So that's why I think that's what it's talking about over here. Gemara says, Pei Tesen Chulun. The Gemara says, Lo meru bechem mikol ha'amim choshek Hashem bechem. Amar lem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Yisrael, choshkani bechem shafilu b'shor shani mashpil lechem gedola. Even when I'm giving you gedola, the pshaz, what happens? Atem b'matim atzmechem lefonai. Nasati gedola l'Avraham. I gave to Avraham Avinu gedola. Gedola, whatever. Amar lefonai, anochi ofer ve'efer. The Moshe ve'Aaron Amar v'nachdu mo, and says the David says he says Anochi Talas below Ish. So the Pshat is interessante Zach. The Pshat is that this is the Madrege from Moshe Rabbeinu. Like Masul Hashem says in the Svarim, different Moses Svarim say that the Madrege from Nachnu Ma is greater than the Madrega from Anochi offer ve'efer. Nachnu Ma means Chabnishkin and Metzias B'chlal. Existed with the Pshaz, but in terms of Moshe Rabbeinu v'tachzerei me'at me'elokim, is the Pshaz kamat kuli ruchni. He was once mentioned the Ramchal. The Pshaz that's the Maral. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu was nifgam in his Korach HaDibur, because the Korach HaDibur is the chibur from the Shama and Guf Tzamen. So that's what we are, and that is our tachlis, that's our avoda in the Welt, is the pshalis to be misgaber, and his gabras of Torah on the gashmias, on the chelak of Guf, on the adomius of a person. So when the Torah is, when you show, when the eyes of Mizenin, Kuli Torah mentions, so if you Kuli Torah mentions, so that's a whole bar of the kvoda, that's the kavod shemayim. So that's Moshe Rabbeinu was a nachnu ma. Masha Enkein is Avraham Avinu is given Anochi offer ve'efer. It's given not the same madrega. It's a different. Avraham Avinu was the Yochid Ha'ovid L'ftei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He didn't have the madrega from Klolius Knesset Yisrael. He was in between the Adam Arishan, Kodem Echet, and Klal Yisrael and the Har Sinai. So the Pshar said, so Adam Arishan. So that's what we said. That we brought the Gemara Psachim. In the Narvei Psachim, the Pshar is that the 26 Gil Olam Chasdas are connected all the Deiros that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was on to finance the world b'chesed. So he mentioned the Pshar that means the Pshar not that there was a miud of chesed when Chas v'Shalom and Vachri Yitzchak says that there wasn't a miud of chesed by Matan Torah. There was a godless of chesed. There was greater chesed. The Pshar is a person that's able to mefardas himself. You give somebody tzedakah ein zachin, or you give somebody this. But so we said all the tzaddikim that existed before Matan Torah, after Adam Arishan, the Pshar their avoda was a personal avoda with the mamish nifladik. There was Pili Ployim. But it wasn't enough for a Kiyum Avelt. The Kiyum Avelt, Bereshis Bar El Lakim, is if Shab B'Shvil HaTorah, B'Shvil Reshis, B'Shvil HaTorah, which is Nikar Reshis, and B'Shvil Yisrael, which is Nikar Reshis. That was not Mekuyim in Avram Avinu. So Mamela, that's
explain to me when Avram Avinu, he kept the Torah, he did Chesed.
Yes.
Every machshava was the Rebbeinu. So what's about it that is wasn't good enough and ours is better?
Because we are not individuals. We have our parts of we're part of Klolius Knesset Yisrael. And Klolius Knesset Yisrael, we had the different madregas, the tzibur. There's mace and stuff. There are different madregas of tzibur which don't exist by yochid. So that idea from the Tikkun of the Welt, the Adam Rishon would have been the Tikkun of the Welt. He had all the Shishim Riba Neshamas were chelik of his neshama. So that was the purpose of the world. That was Hakol Baruch L'Kvodo. Masha Enkein B'Shas that even though you have an Adam Gadol Sheba Anakim, you have an Avram Avinu, which was nifle. Mosai Yigim Ma'isai the Ma'isai Mosai. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but Afal Pikain, which they were part of the Chavav Dairis, which Akash Baruch was Bazon and Faris the world, Bechesed Chinam. Masha Enken by Matan Torah is Bechesed Mishpah, because it's not the individual who's doing his avodah b'lafnei the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's Klal Yisrael. It's now we have the surah of Klal Yisrael like Adam Rishon, the Madur Basra from Adam Rishon.
I don't know when it came to Lloyd. So he davened over there. He said, "If there's a 100, the 450, the 10." When he got to 5, after he got to 5, he gave up. So there's a din and a tzibah here.
No, there's tzibur and there's the Klolius Knesset Yisrael. You can have a tzibur from 20, you can have 40. You can have
a miler. I hear there's a miler there.
No, that's not something. That's a different word. That's shutofim. That's a tzibur could be a group of people.
I think he stopped over there. He would have said even one. But he was choshed to get the answer that there's not even one. So he was afraid to answer.
She says less than 9. Less than 9, he didn't go. But whatever. I'm just telling you, this is a niflitik yisod. Mamash pili ployim.
See, I think when I say better tzibah, I have a better taina when I say tzibah instead of a yochid. When the guy says, I want...
Yeah, there's a schus.
So it's easy for me to say no to. When you say the whole tzibah, this is what the tzibah wants. The other tzibah wants Wednesday night. They don't want Tuesday night. So you listen a little bit more when one guy says it.
But that's a different musag of tzibah. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a bria nifla from Mama's Klolius Knesset Yisrael. They were all one.
And I understood that you're taking down what's a little bit what Anshe Knesset Agdol. See, when I think I daven b'yechidus, I think that the Anshe Knesset Agdol, when they were masaking the tefillah, they already thought out every single problem that even me as a yochid could have, and they stuck it in there. If it's only a tefillah dikatziba, so they can only think about Klolius dika problems.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's Kuf Chav Chachamim. The Gemara says in Megillah, the Psharis and the Kama Nevim, were part of the Anshe Knesset Yisrael, and every they were masakin the dosar tefillah. That every tefillah that a person does has different tikkunim from the whole life. There's no two tefillahs which are the same. So even if he is b'yechidus, the b'shayis, of course, they should daven b'chidus. There's a halach that he davens with the tzibur, but that's not the tzibur we're talking about. The tzibur we're talking about is
Knesset Yisrael.
Knesset Yisrael tzibur. But Avada is an Indian to daven with a tzibur, even at this. But the tefillahs are niflidik.
So b'shosha tzibur mispal.
Right, even when you can't daven with them, you daven b'shosha tzibur mispal. That's a different tzibur. Not the tzibur that we're talking about. The tzibur that we're referencing is mamash a tzibur. It's something which is a chidush in Welt. So and you see that's why I don't have it here, but that's in the Gemara Baba Kama pay base. That's what the Gemara says that there was a machlokas between two malchei Chashmonoi, and they were fighting. One was inside Yerushalayim, one was outside of Yerushalayim. So and they were tzaru, and the one they were fighting as Ari Stroblis and another fellow, whatever.
You don't think today? I'll go back and say today also. I think that I'm getting a chesed chinam from the Eibishter. So how does it come to me b'mishpat?
Yeah.
So I understand like this, that the reason why it comes to me b'mishpat is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Haftarah. Once he gave Klal Yisrael, he gave them a Torah, he was mechayiv himself certain things. Until that point, he wasn't mechayiv himself anything. But it only comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu's chayiv to us that is the mishpat. The emerson, the mishpat, we don't deserve nothing.
Okay, I'm asking to you. I'm asking, we don't deserve anything.
So our tzibur, the thing, this Knesset Yisrael Raya, it's not a right because it was Matan Torah. It's not that we have more power. Avram Avinu had zicha better power up there. He had a much better protection. He didn't have that at that point. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kaviyach, I don't know how to say it, but he didn't make that promise. He didn't make that haftacha. Once we have haftacha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where's
your haftacha?
As haftacha on Pesach we have haftacha, but somehow or another, if there's a mishpat that we're able to be mechayiv, we understand that the only way is because there's a haftacha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Where's the haftacha? What haftacha? What are you talking
When he gave us a Torah and he gave us a way that he was promised us that we're going to have a way to deal. I don't know. I can be medayik in different ways. Yeah, but I'm the one sitting up front over there. You're the one with the white man sitting up front.
I'm thinking about switching.
But it has to be a portion of seichel.
This is a problem. Beryl, this is a problem. That's all.
It's coming b'mishpat. The only reason why it can be b'mishpat is chayvus from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whatever we can understand it. It can only be because HaKadosh Baruch Hu was mischayiv himself to give it to us.
No. We are mechuyev. Beryl. We're Makabel the Torah, we're Mechuyev, has nothing to do with the Baruch Shalom Mechayev anything. This is a one-way ball game. We are his avodim, and we're being
so how is it that the Chova of Doris was Bechesed and afterwards it's B'mishpat?
Because their avodah was not again. You understand Avodah Marish before the Chet, right? That was we're going to get back to the tachlis of the world. The tachlis of the world is Pshanis B'Shvil Torah B'Shvil Yisrael.
He did Torah. He was keeping.
They weren't Yisrael. They weren't
Yisrael. We don't know that.
They weren't
Yisrael. They knew even more.
Rabbi, they weren't Yisrael. They weren't. They weren't. They were in a certain aspect.
Even Avram had a bris milah. He did it. So it might have taken him a couple of years to do it.
Yeah.
But he had a bris milah. At some point, he became Ois Aro.
And the Bnei Keturah also are mechuyev milah, but that has nothing to do with our musag of the pshat is the b'shvil Yisrael, shenikar reishis. The pshat is that he had the koiches in him.
We have more koiches today because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us koiches that is a portion of that to understand that he stole the back Knesset Yisrael, that there should be. He gave up a koiches to.
He gave up.
He gave us a certain strength that we don't have, that we didn't have beforehand.
Well, listen, I don't.
He gave us his Torah.
That we could pass it.
Well, they had Avram Avinu was Mekayim the Torah also.
It wasn't given to them.
It wasn't given to them. But Torah, and we mentioned many chilukim. It wasn't given to them. Torah's,
Nishma v'nasa.
Yeah, it was Nishma v'nasa. It wasn't Torah's chiyuv. It wasn't. It was only maybe in Eretz Yisrael, whatever, different mafarshim, whatever. But
so then you have to take care of it.
For Keret, it answers about that. The Gemara says in brachas. The Gemara says that the two brachas that bring the lasak b'divrei Sarah and the no, and then it says in Asher Bachar Bano. That's the mufchasha b'brachas. It says. The mufchasha b'brachas is Asher Bachar Bano. Why is it mufchasha b'brachas? Very good. Shana Vitzivana Lasik b'Torah v'Herev. No, and this is gewaldig. But this is mitzad the yochid. This is not the Asher Bachar Bano mikol ha'amim. V'nosan lonu Esther Rosso. The Pshara said that's the mufchasha b'brachas. That is the tachlis of the welt. With the kiyum of the welt is totally on this here musag from Klolis Knesset Yisrael. It's look at the Gemara. It's in Yud on the base.
I don't know. I think that over there is saying that Hashabocha.
So you know the Gemara.
We say like this. No, we say I don't remember offhand, but we say like this. We say in the Agoda, what's it called? Ba'atu kivenu amok lavodosoi.
Yeah.
So always we say, I tell my kids, what's the Gavaldi guy, the Mela, therefore, the Fika, Chodesh Lahal. So what's the Gavaldi Gezach? We just say that he gave us the Torah and finished with that place over there. So we're special, we got that.
You want to eat your Gnei earlier,
the
that's
reason
all.
why we talk about all the Gnei, we talk about all that, because the further we were away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the more HaKadosh Baruch Hu did to bring us out, makes us greater. So the nifcha of the brachas for us is to talk about Hashem Baruch Habanu because we are greater, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose us. But Hashem Kedishon, he can give it to everybody else. It's not a mufcha sheba bracha. The reason why it's a mufcha sheba bracha is because I'm grateful that he chose me.
All right. Listen, not disagreeing with you. I am, but I'm not now. Not now.
Camera's off.
Yeah, when the camera's off, that's it. Saying a lot of the kids, very good. Anyway, so this is the aside of tefillah. This is the aside of our tachlis in the Welt, and this is mamish. This Parshas Tzav is the kiyum of this. Oh, so what I want to tell you. Oh, but before I was interrupted a little bit. That's the Chashmonoim when they were fighting the Malchi Chashmonoim. They were fighting. What happened over there is that every day they take up the guys on the outside. Aristobulus would take a basket and fill it with coins. And they would bring it up, and they go inside. Inside would take the coins and let it down over the walls, and they would put in a korban. For the korban told me they would put in the whatever's necessary, whatever it was, and they would take it up. So one day comes along this Chachma, one of the Chachma Yovin comes along and says, you know, their whole existence, their whole metzius, the reason you can't go are not metzius is dependent on this korban talmud. It's dependent upon the korban talmud. If you just don't give it to them, so that's what they did. They put a chazer in the basket, they sent it up, and it put the talofim into the walls of Yerushalayim, and it was Nazazaya, Eretz Yisrael for Abraham Parshas, like it was nifli. But what's the point? The point is the Yisod from Klai Yisod, the Yisod from Kiyim from Klai Yisod is this Talmud, and when there's no base, it's Tefillah. Unser Tefillah, Kol Yaakov. This is our Yisod. This is this Pashtus Agashmis. This is carved the Medregas Navur Sheitach Mechaber. This is mamish carved the Medregas Navur. A person is Pashtus is Agashmis. That's what we're doing in the world. That dos is unser tafkid. So there's mamish a gemara like that. So the Yavonim is all good verstanden. But those better from the Yidden, we come in, you daven and you this, go lachiyad and stuff like that. If you would know what a tefillah is, what tikkunim in Welt, what a tefillah is. So it's nifladik, and that is the korban. The korban it's a me'ain for the korban talmud. So it must be it's something that was a nifladik gezach. That's all. That's all. I wanted to get to. Memela, the pshat we once mentioned way back. I think it may be in Parshas Chayisar, maybe Lech Lecho. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But we once mentioned when Adam Rishon, not Adam Rishon, Avram Avinu, by the Bris Ben Basarim. What is that? That's about the Bris Ben Basarim. Yeah, that's Vav Ches. So this answers a very interesting Sache. The Mefarshim go to town. So I don't know if that's a nice expression, but the Mefarshim involve themselves over here. That's what. Yeah. No. That's what. Yeah. We once spoke about Riches. V'hinei Dvar Hashem Elov Leimu Lo Yiroshecho Zeki Im Asher Yetzei Mimeyecho Hu Yiroshecho. The Pshat is that the Rebbeinu Shalom promised Avram Avinu that it's going to be from one of his from the Yetzei Mimeyecho Hu Yiroshecho. So then Avram Avinu told him to Behemin B'Hashem Yachshavel Lo Tzedakah. He was Avram Avinu was Avram Avinu was the consummate Mammon Yachshavel Lo Tzedakah. V'Yamer Lo Ani Hashem Asher Seisicham Me'orkastim Losses Lo Azos LaRishto V'Yamer Hashem Elokim B'Amoy Eida Ki Risheno. So we went and explained what is this idea that Avraham Avinu was asking b'ma'ed. You just told me that he was there, he was v'hami b'Hashem v'yachshavel lo tzedakah, and all of a sudden he's asking b'ma'ed. So Rashi, we brought down the Rashi. Rashi says v'hami b'Hashem lo shol lo os al zos. He was not asking on that the Abrish just said you're going to have a kid and you're going to go and you're going to yerish Eretz Yisrael. That way, he was not asking it that way. That was not what Avram Avinu was asking. Aval Yerushas haaretz shol lo os v'amar lo b'ma eda. He was asking on the Yerushas haaretz. On this idea of Yerushas haaretz, so we at the time of Parshas, the Pshara said that meant the Kedushas ha'av. A nifladik musag from the Kedushas, the Kedusha from Zera Av. That normally you go after the goyim, they go after the mother, because the father is very base. But you go after that. This there should be a musag of kedusha zera av. The b'shas that's an unbelievable concept. It was a radical, a new chiddush in the Welt that never existed in the Welt. And Mamelo on that Metzias that Akash Baruch Hu.
But by Goy, it doesn't go always the boss of Zera Av and by Yid goes Zera Aim.
No, that's in certain Yichusim the Pshaz, but that is called the Kedusha Zera Av. That's why all the Shvatim had the Yud and the Hey after the names at the beginning and after this was there was a Kedusha Zera Av. The Pshara said so on a time that's because we are a chelik of Kololius Knesset Yisrael. That's where it comes from. That's why you can have any individual. You can have Chas v'Shalom. You can have somebody that's not nesaber from the husband. It happens, but that's in terms of yichidus. In terms of the yochid. But in terms of Klal Yisrael, the Kedusha from Klal Yisrael is that's what it means when he goes Ro Bil is Achar Abal. You bottle to the Klal. You're chelik of that Klal Knesset Yisrael, and you're chelik of Klal Knesset Yisrael. So the Pshas that's Kuli Kodesh.
He can't get a the Shlomo is Bezdivri. He can't get a place in the Shbuchayim Meisavoisam. He doesn't have a place in the Golan. He doesn't. The son of Shlomo is Bezdivri doesn't have a place there. Take his tent there and find himself a place. The Golan Am Shbuchayim Meisavoisam.
Right. So therefore, what is that?
He's saying the Zera it goes to the Aim and he's a Jew. He's a Jew, but it's not going to help him. That's what. What's what happened.
If you don't have a brother, you go and you put the choice and you go and they said that. That's good that they came and they give them a chelik also.
My head was exhausted. I'm telling you. The Yom Hashem B'ma Eida Ki Yirasheno is a effectus. He wants a simon on this new Metzias that and it wasn't even by Avram Avinu. It wasn't exactly 100% by Avram Avinu. He had a Yishmo. He had a this. He had Yitzchok. Had a this. It didn't take effect until I want to find it. Until Mamish Metzias of after when you get to the Shvat. And we said that Yaakov Avinu was Kamat. Had the ability of a Klolius Knesset Yisrael, but it was not Bepol Mamish, even though he had Shiftei Kor, and the Shiftei Kor, and it was Mitosa Shleimo, and things like that. But this idea from the Kedusha Zera Av, so the Pshah said that's a Yetzei Mime'echo, Hu Yiroshecho, That's something that's because we're a chelik from Klolis Knesset Yisrael, and that is, and you're bottled to the Rav, you're bottled by Rav, and you're bottled by Rav over there. So we are bottled by Rav.
Guy wouldn't be Roy Bilas Achabal.
No,
it's not a Metzias de Kazakh.
So almost Susan was around.
It's only on Knesset Yisrael.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Think
Well,
so.
all chazakas are like that, or only that one?
That one, I think.
Chazaka is a chazaka. That's why we can say such a thing. So we can say the same thing by Roy Bilas Achabal makes a different. It's a different type of chazaka. Only works on Eden.
It's a different Metzias.
So that's the shaila. What the Metzias is there. So we know that Roy Bilas Achabal.
No, that's what I'm telling you. Well, I don't know if whatever. That's I don't know if not only that, but I don't know.
Susan is around them, no?
They don't have this
it's not
nemonis. They don't have this versicherkeit that this is like that. All right, whatever. That's. But anyway, so that answers the morale. You know, he.
I shouldn't assume that he's a Molech if his father was a Molech, because we don't say Roy Bilas Achabal.
You can assume would kill him anyway.
I don't want to kill him with this. It's not worth it.
Assume that it's Amalek, but hey, maybe it's not that guy's Amalek. Maybe it's the next door neighbor's
Amalek is everywhere.
So, yeah, if you look at
they're mostly killed out already.
if you look at the Maral and the Gvuras in Perek Tes, like very few times have you seen something like real sharper lashonas over here. The pshat is that the Maral is the pshat is that the Gemara the pasuk says Yada Teda Ki Ger Yezarachav Avdom Ve'inu some by the Bris Ben Asarim. Al Meh Chori Ha'af Hagado Azeh Shahaya Amar Lo Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kach. So this is like it's a gewaltige kasha. Like what happened over there? The Avraham Avinu comes and he got in a Brisbane Basarim and the Rebbeinu Shem tells him, you guys, you're going to be in Teda Kiger Yiyaz Arachavi Avdam Ve'inu Asam. They're going to get panicked for 400 years. They're going to be in a land not their own. The Pshat is, so what happened? Like what's his shuldig for this? What happened? So all of the Mefarshim go different, trying to answer different terutzim to this. But it's a gewaltige kasha. This is a tremendous kasha, and a red sharp diburim on them. He brings down the Ramban's pshat. The kvar hikshu alav kushis ad sheneker pirusha mikol v'kol. The frek kasha is like he knocks out the Ramban. So whatever. I just want to illustrate that this is ad kadekach. There's a kasha tzuma. That this is from Van Kumte. That Avram was a shuldik. That the pshat said that comes them there's such a thing for Zarel. Chalila lamar kach ve'od Yitzchak she'amar. He brings down all kinds of different pshatim. Different pshatim is and a machna effect with them all. One says, "Kol mishiyesh lo inayim liras yireh kisibas hamachira kadesh yaval the yeridas Mitzrayim shekain darshim and kamas harbe v'yishlachei be'emech Chevron me'etz amuka shel tzadik hakaver beChevron shenever lo kiger yiyaz aracha." Hine hoya hashibet shel Mitzrayim sibel lemechira lo shetahei mechira sibel leshibet. Okay, whatever. So I'm just wanted to illustrate how the chomer this kasha is. So what we're saying. So what is it over here? It comes out very niflit gezach. Comes out mamash niflit gezach. Gemara in the Darim says on Lamed Beis. The Gemara frekt the kasha. The Gemara frekt the kasha. Let's see. This last time I was here, it affected the kasha. Let's see. Yeah. Amar Rabbi Abahu, Amar Rabbi Lazar. Mipenei ma nanish Avram Avinu v'nishtabdu bonov l'Mitzrayim Masayim ve'eser shonim. What happened? What's the geschehen that it's kommt such an onish chamor ad kadei kach that is born over nishtabdu l'Mitzrayim for 210 years? We once brought this down because I wanted to tell you that this is Shalsuah to the Matzav in Eretz Yisrael. One shot was Shasa and Garya B'Talmid Chachamim, and the Rashi, the Ran says that it's talking about that they used not only the Talmid Chachamim were like, but there were people that were mechunech and Torah, and they wanted to free them from Torah. They took them all out to fight in Mechama. It's very. But Shmuel says interessante Sach. Shmuel Amar b'bnei shehifriz amidos of Shal Kadosh Baruch Hu shnemer b'ma eda ki rishena. Oh, this is what Shmuel says. You know what was kumtum the Anish Gadol of this is because the Avraham Avinu asked b'ma eda. So according to what we're saying, it's very interesting. It's a santa mamash ma'od eflidik. Is if Shas this Ma'eda, what was the way we're learning it? Is Shas Ma'eda was a response that the Rebbeinu Shalom said that you're going to have a kedusha zera av, which was a Yerusha Choes Haaretz. Because of that, it's going to be that's the siba from Yerusha Haaretz. So and Avraham Avinu says Ma'eda because there was a concept that was a niflitik, a naya concept in the Welt. He wasn't asking on that you're going to have children, you're going to have this, and that's okay. I don't know if you remember, we once mentioned that in terms of Hilchos Nachlus that the Rambam brings down that an Akum is Yeresh Aviv Minatera, but it's Teres Matana. It's not a Teres Yerusha. This Mulsuk from Yiddish Nachlus is something that's only, and it's the Gebot on dependent upon this idea from Kedusha Zerav. So Mamela the Pshah said that's what he was asking by Ma'eda. The Rashi brought down the Rashi wasn't asking on that. That he's going to have a children and they're going to take over the Eretz and stuff like that. That wasn't his problem. That wasn't his issue. That was not his suffix. What he wanted to know, he wanted to ask that also on the Shah. You're telling me a concept. You're telling me a musik that nu chiddush that the dikazach Ma'eda. Like, could I have some kind of insight into this? Can I have insight into this? How is it going to be? How's it going to come? Oh, so the way we're saying it's very beautiful because this concept taka ena chanami is Avraham Avinu was not shaykh to this concept really. Because why? Because we said that this concept of the kedusha zera'av and the pshat and Yerusha Haaretz is really only from Har Sinai ve'elech. Is only from the Madur Basar from Adam Rishon after you have this Yitzira from Klolius Knesset Yisrael. Then you can have this concept of Kedusha Zav. So that's what was such a davar, such a thing far from his conceptual. It was a Gadol Anak Shema Anakim. This Avram Avinu. Right, it was unbelievable, but Dosnit, he was not part of that idea from the Klolius Knesset Yisrael. So the Pshas Sabali is not part of that. Well, that's what he is. But Ma'eda, the way we're saying, you says Onish. Why is it was kumtum de Onish? Why are you calling it an Onish? According to the way we're saying, it's not an Onish. It's because it comes through Doch Yisurin. It comes Yisurin. Your kids. We had to go back in the Lager. We had to be in Mitzrayim for Redu Shonim Peivav. At least 86 years, whatever. As part of it was the Shver Avoda was unbelievable. So Pshas Mamela Pshas said that's good. Those haste that's in the Lashon of Chachamim. That's also an Onish. But Nanshu. The Bonav, but Enechanami, it's really the Pshaz that this concept from Kedusha Sa'av and the Yerusha Haaretz that goes back the answer Torah is really only dependent upon this Nifli de Gazach. This Ma'eda.
It should have been a glick, the precious, this having to, what's it called?
What?
We should thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for this
Of course, we thank HaKadosh for everything.
That's for we know that it was for our benefit.
All right.
But like what you're saying over here,
yeah.
He should have understood that it's a sort of precious.
Who should have understood?
The Baal Torah who's asking.
Not Baal Torah, there's a Gemara. I'm telling you
no, you bringing down the kasha
bring down
before the Gemara.
Huh?
The Maral.
No, I'm just telling you, the Maral said it was schwer. He has his own shot, but I was just bringing the Maral to illustrate that this is a double chomer ad va'od discussion. It's not a stammer, gefrekt, and he has a different shot and dvarim, it's very interesting. Very interesting if the way he talks over here, because Shazi held that these were mamash not. Such terutzim. So I'm not amazed that we're thinking that our teretz the morale wouldn't knock a back with it, but right now I can slip it under the radar over here. That this is something very beautiful. The Shmuel says, "B'ma Eda." But my Eid is the Sherish, is the Siba, and according to us, this was because that's only shaykh to the Madur Basa from Adam Arishan. Madur Basa from Adam Arishan. So that was not part of the Chaf of Darius from Adam Arishan until Matan Torah. That was the Olam Chasta, was a Chesed Chidam, not the Chesed Mishpat. That was from Har Sinai invited.
I'm just trying to understand. Lloyd Shmuel.
Yeah.
If Avram Avinu would not have said B'meida, would there be another mahalach to get to Knesset Yisrael, or this is part of the program?
So the way I'm saying it, it's not an onish because he asked. It's an explanation of why he wasn't B'ma Eda. He asked. It's an explanation he asked because he wasn't shaykh to that musug from Klolis Knesset Yisrael yet. So and that's why we had to go into Mitzrayim, not because the punishment for doing something wrong. It was the Korah Barzel. That was the only way to get a Klolis Knesset Yisrael. Like we said many times, we went through the different aspects, the different parts. Okay, I thought it very, very interesting. Very mamish. It's something like this. Okay. So and this was the assault of the carbon sibur, like we're talking about. This is all forbidden. This is all yotzi min a klal from Valda. We're talking about a klali is Knesset Yisrael. So we have this carbon sibur, and we have the Yerushas Aretz, and we have the Kedusha Zera'av. This is all forbidden. This is all yotzi from their idea. This unbelievable Yisira. So and the idea, the Musar Korban Siba, that it's not Yechidim. This is something which is Mabash Nifladik. So okay, I feel like we have to go. Okay, but anyway, and that's until we reach Har Sinai that you have the Meleches Kahanim the Goy Kodesh. The Goy Kodesh. That is our Goy Kodesh. We're not Yechidim. We have a parts of Yechidus, but Yechidim, we have to all responsible. But we're Mamash and Echod. Mamash and Echod. So Lord, there's another Chazal. There's what is it says? It's in the Gemara in South in Yud Zion. Doesn't take out. Yeah. It comes out very, very interesting. That there's another Bechina from Efer. We said that this Bechina from Efer Para. Efer from the Talmud, which you have the Nasa Mitzvah, so you don't say not. It's for carrot. The could be the Iker part of the Talmud is even if is the Truma Sadashin is because you're Mavalto the Zich, and the only way to Mavalto the Zich we said is only because you're part of the Klal. You're bottled to the Klal. You're bottled berav of the Klal here. But there is another Bechina from Efer that we're talking about over here. He says here, Rava says, Darish Rava, B'schar shama Avram Avinu v'anochi offer ve'efer zacho bonav lebeis mitzvahs efer para ve'offer selta. Oh, there's an efer para. But if the verstehst the Indian, if you look at the Gemara, but if you look in the Rambam in Hilchos Para Duma, that's Yidua. But that the Para Duma is b'shayis that even though it's kedushas bedek habayis, it doesn't have the din of a korban siba. It's not a din of it's kedushas bedek habayis. Even though the Torah is karya chatas. The Torah ruftus on a chatas, and Mamela has certain dinim like a chatas, but be'etzim it's not a kedusha, and this is mamash nifladik, because like we said, is the pshat that whole concept of the pshat is that person who's batul mamash to the klal from klolius knesses Israel, so pshat of Mamela, that's the ramah from kedusha goes up into a certain madrega from kedusha. You're batul to the Rebbeinu Shalom, which the Rebbeinu Shalom is Klal Yisrael and Kucha Berichu v'Araisa. Yisrael is Chadhu. So the Pshas Mamela that bittul to the Rebbeinu Shalom, that's the kedusha he kodesh oni. So Mamela the Pshas he understands that the kedusha from the Deshin, the Trumas the Deshin is kodesh kedoshim. That's Moshe Rabbeinu's madrega. Moshe Rabbeinu. What did we say the other day? The pshat is that the Rebbeinu Shalom says leich reid, and Rashi says leich reid mi gedula. Your whole gedula, whole Moshe Rabbeinu was only was only a metzias of Moshe Rabbeinu was only a metzias from Klal Yisrael. He was not a private individual. He was Klal Yisrael. Ad kadei kach that if Klal Yisrael is not going to exist, mecheni no mesifrecha. He what tells you the pshat is that ich existiert nicht. The rest I'll make from you a different name. I'll make a different name. No. This existiert nicht. The pshat is that I don't exist without Klal Yisrael. Oh, but say the pshat is that that's your efer. The Efer that we're talking about, the Efer from the Korban Siba, the Keneged Moshe Rabbeinu, is a pshat that that's an Efer which is Kodesh Kedoshim. That's a Kodesh Kedoshim. Masha'en came the Efer from Avram Avinu, as great as he was at Yochid, there was we have to say, Mosai you give Maisai, the Maisai Vosai, and a Chanabi, the pshat, but that did not have the Kedusha from the Kedusha, it was Me'ena Kedusha's Berech HaBayis, which is a niflitik zach. It's very interesting zach. Okay, I'll have to. So those are the two Efer. The Efer Para, and you have the Efer from the Talmud. So it's very interesting zach. Good. It's not okay. So okay. I'd come. Someone asked me a very interesting kasha. Very interesting kasha. I think it's the other day. What state in Svar Pesach? If you can indulge me another couple minutes here, just. Vayitzias Mitzrayim, Moshe b'nei Yisrael sheyosh b'Mitzrayim 30 shana ו40 shana, Vayhi miketz 30 shana ו40 shana, Vayhi be'etzem hayom hazeh yatzu kol tzivos me'eretz Mitzrayim. Now before that, what does it say? That's Pasuk Mem Aleph, let's say. Pasuk Lamed Tes. Vayofos abotzek asher hotziu mi Mitzrayim ugus matzos ki lo chometz ki gorshu mi Mitzrayim v'lo yochol lismamea gam seidel lo osalem. So somebody asked the kasha. What do you mean? A niflidik kasha is also in Pasuk Non Aleph over here also. Vayi be'etzem hayom hazeh hotzi Hashem es b'nei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim al tziva hasam is a pshat is that the time. When was Makas Becheres? Chatzos Alayla. When did Klal Yisrael go out of Mitzrayim? Physically, when did they leave Mitzrayim? They the next morning, whatever. Certainly for So what do you mean there was no time to bake the matzahs? There had plenty of time. There had no time to bake the matzahs. There had no time to make it chometz. It was 18 minutes. You didn't have 18 minutes. The whole night. You had the whole night. What are you talking about? Das hat Effekt. It's a wunderbar kasha. Very simple, straightforward, kind of wunderbar kasha. No, that's a mamash and the kasha. So the teretz is like this. I mean, whatever teretz. A teretz, whatever, let's say. Is I once saw from one of the Mefarshim, the early Mefarshim, I don't remember, that the Makis Becheres, the Makis Becheres, that Makkah, it started at the night, at midnight at Chatzos, but the whole night they were dying.
The Mefarfer,
they were screaming and crying, they would have been suing the whole night. So Mamela is it's a beautiful thing. The Pshaz Klal Yisrael, this was along the line of this bittul to the Rebbeinu, a complete bittul to the Rebbeinu, is but that was even before the Klal Yisrael. But there was a bittul there to we experienced such unbelievable things. Pshaz, they didn't do anything until the Makkah was finished. It's not Pshaz that at night they were mezorgs that what are we going to eat in the midbar and how are we going to have that? They said no, that was not the asik over here. The asik was the Pshaz said when the Kodesh Baruch Hu says leave, when it was time to leave, we'll leave. Before that, they didn't give any price. Almost like the Gemara says that Mishiyesh lepas hayam and v'dayi got a machar is a mikat emuna. They're from the Gedali Emuna over here. The Doadeya, the Gedali Emuna. So Mela, the Pshaz said that's what happened over here. The Pshaz, the Kol Zman, the Makkah was ongoing. There were people that were still Becherim, that were dying and stuff like that. So the Pshaz, the Mela, the Pshaz, they didn't make a plan what's going to be afterwards when we leave. So the Pshaz said the whole night they were dying, so they didn't do anything about it. They didn't have time to bake matzahs. They didn't think about it. It was not their asik right now. If the Abraham Shem says jump, you jump. When Abraham Shem don't jump, don't jump. You don't. They were not talking about going out. It's mamash and nifli to gezach. So I come and raya a shtickle Shiur to the zach also.
What does that do with the fact that it was going all night?
Huh?
What does that to do with the fact that it was going all night?
Because the makkah they weren't leaving until after the makkah is finished. So we're not preparing for leaving until the makkah is finished.
Else what?
Because that's what the makkahs are about. When the makkahs are finished, then we leave. We don't leave in the middle of the makkah. We're not preparing. It's not like a guy comes to the siyum and starts eating before the siyum, and like the balabatim do. There's like
you do.
Yeah, right. So that's it.
This is about
the Kohen also. This the Kohen also. All right.
The Kohen also.
Yeah.
But I wonder, when did they have time to go borrow the stuff? Why didn't they just go bake matzahs? Because Baruch Hu gave them a tzibah.
That's what I'm telling you. No, so that's what I'm telling you. There's no baking matzahs here. They were baking matzahs was
matzahs for the Korban Pesach. There's two different matzahs.
Different. There were matzahs, different matzahs between.
They're going on the way. So
anyway, this is what the Gemara says. So I have a shtickle raya to this also.
What is it?
Yeah.
Where's
The Gemara in Daf Tes in Brachas. There's a Gemara in Daf Dalet Amud Beis, and there's a Gemara in Tes Amud Aleph in Brachas over here. Amar Rabbi Abba Hakol Modim Kishenigalu MiYisrael MiMitzrayim Lo Nigalu Elo Be'erev. Everybody agrees that the Gula was Be'erev. We'll see what that means. Hotziyocha Hashem Elokecha MiMitzrayim Lailo. So that's a good pasuk in Devarim. That pasuk in Devarim over here. That's Zayin Aleph. O Kishayatza Lo Yatza Elo B'Yam. But the physical Yitzir was by Tog. Interessante Sache, okay? Shenemar Mimachras HaPesach, that's in Bal Midbar. Mimachras HaPesach Yatzu B'nei Yisrael B'Yad Ramo. Alma Nechlechu, so there's a machlokas over here, Rabbi Shua ben Levi and Rabbi Kiva. So what's it talking about? Ashas HaChipozim. What time, when was this Chipozim that we're talking about that they did? Rebbe Lezer ben Azariah Savar Mai Chipazin the Mitzrayim. It's a pshat is the Chipazin the Mitzrayim, and Rabbi Akiva says it talks about Mai Chipazin Israel. Okay, fine. That's a little weiter, but this is for what we need right now. Zocht Rashi Akol Modim Me'erev Nigalu. Okay, Nasna Lehem Reshus Lotzes. So the Reshus, what is the Gula was at night, and the Yitzhak, the physical Yitzhak was by Tog. So Huda has a whole maimed like this. That by Nacht was because the Yitzhak was the Geula was the Geula from Israel without any Erev Rav. And then the next day when they came, the Pasuk says before they came the next day to join. Subshah said, and they had to have the Geula was a Geula from Klai. So about this is Me'ain of the Geula Asida. Okay, good. I hear. But over here Rashi says very interesting thing. Me'erev Nigalu. No, is not still the Hem Reshus Lotzes. Chipazin the Mitzrayim. So what Mitzad Mitzrayim was the Chipazin. Makis HaBecherim Sha'al Yodam is Nechpazu L'Mahir L'Shalchim. Because of this Makis Becherim that was going on, so the Pshar said they wanted Klai Yisrael out as fast as possible. So what does Rabbi Chipazin to Israel? What does that mean? Lo Shomu L'Hem Lotzes Ad Boker. Nifla de Gazak. You ever hear a Rashi like that? Lo Shomu. Now, I would say the Pshar said that after Makkah was finished, that's when they left. That's the Chipazon of Israel. There's a Chipazon of Mitzrayim when they're shtitzing them to go, leave. And there's a Chipazon of Israel when they're like what we said before, like after the Makkah's finished, they'll get up and leave. What's Rashi want? Lo Shomu lehem lotzes ad boker. He's not totally on the ending when the Makkah ends. He's totally on the Pshaz that they listen the whole night. They're yelling at them, go. You can imagine the Pshaz people dying left and right, and the Pshaz and they're telling them to go and get out of here quick. They're just taking go quick. Pshaz, and they didn't listen to him the whole night. Didn't bother them. They didn't listen to him the whole night. And all of a sudden in the morning, and they listened to him. Ad Kere Kak, there was a chipos, and they didn't have time to bake the matzahs. What happened? What's this nishtana? Ma nishtana alayla zeh. What happened? So the pshat is what we're saying is very good. The pshat is that the whole night they didn't listen to him because the makkah is not finished.
No, because they weren't allowed to go.
The Makkah is not finished, and the Makkah is a Yitzhak from Mitzrayim. It's Ayudei Asar Makkah. You're not allowed. You're not going out. You're not going out from Mitzrayim until. Yeah, but you're not going out from Mitzrayim until the Makkah is finished. You're not going. Look. You're not going out until the Makkah is finished. Oh, you're not going out until the Makkah is finished. But then in the morning when you're supposed to go out, and then just sit and go. So they finally listen to him. Then Klai Yisrael listen to him. The whole night we don't listen to him because who cares what you say? The Makkah is not finished. Oh, the Makkah is finished by Boker. The Makkah is finished. The Pshaz Einachanami. So then we're running out. We don't. We're listening. Einachanami. So it's a shtickle. It's very good. Interessante Sach. But okay, you have what to think about. Another, something very very interessante Sach. The Chag Geula, sein richtige beautiful Nisim and Neflos and Nerfuas and Yeshuas for ganz Klai Yisrael and Simchas and Nachas and just Hatzloch and Al and Yon and Begashmi Baruch and Shalom Kederech Teva. Those is.